All right. So, last we left off, we sat in the aftermath of fighting a basilisk. Setting up camp in the depot and spending the night there, discovering a couple of things about yourselves and your party. Hera being very polite and lighting a fire, campfire for everyone to hustle around and stay warm. But what was weird is in the mist, you seem to see that time almost stood still. The sun and the moon didn't seem to move from the spot where it sat in the sky. Coming across a band or a crew of some other kind, a warforged, an orc, and a human, who are after some silver. Seemed a bit suspicious, but didn't seem too violent. You paid them some silver, and they went on their way, not looking like they were returning. The night passed, and you got Balinor up on a floating shield and started heading out of the mist back towards Vathrond. We pick up a couple of hours into the day as you lead Obak through the mists, and he keeps finding those spice drops that you left for him. The journey is a little bit quicker, but it's still a bit bizarre having almost no scenery to go off. You've got the lightning rail pylons, but other than that, 100 feet away from you, it just goes into this fog. Before too long, it starts to clear, and you can start to see some shrubs and some rocks and some more scenery and terrain start to appear. And eventually, you realize that the mists are now behind you. Can I just get a general perception check from everyone?
So 17.
Okay.
18.
You measured Michael.
8.
18?
No, just 8.
Oh, just 8. No team.
Hey, 5.
And Hera?
9.
Okay. Puck and Vargier, you notice this the most. As you come out, you start to feel the wind coming across, and there's suddenly atmosphere again. You know, you can kind of feel the heat of the sun coming down to you, and you notice that it is in a different point in the sky. You feel the wind coming across. You feel the even the dirt under your shoes. But you also feel quite tired. Nothing mechanical game-wise, but you just feel like, whoa, have you been traveling for a whole day? But it's only been a couple of hours.
Can I check on as Balinor comes out of the mist? Can I check on her?
Sure. Do you want to give me like a medicine check?
Yeah.
Just like checking her, like she's petrified still.
Yeah. That's a 15 plus 3, 18.
18. You can't really check vitals or anything like that, but
Yeah.
you give her a look over. It doesn't seem like anything has changed since you have been walking. She's still holding that same position. The skin is still cold to the touch, but it doesn't look like, no color has changed from her. The hair hasn't suddenly gone grey or anything like that. She is pretty much exactly the same.
But what about mounts? Are they suddenly lagging and dragging their heels kind of thing?
You have a look at Swift Scale, and it does seem like it has been walking for, you can tell when it's starting to get tired. And it kind of like shakes it off. But you can tell that it's nearing its, it'd be good to have some water and some food and a rest.
And it feels kind of sudden.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Kind of like when sometimes in the afternoon and you're just like, whoa, I'm just hit a wall.
Yeah. Is anyone else feeling unnaturally tired suddenly?
The rest of you will start to feel it now.
It feels like I've been tracking for a day.
Yes.
I look up at the sun, Mr. DM.
Yep.
Or to its relative position if we're still kind of in the mist. If I compare that to the time of day that we entered the mists, to when it is now,
Yeah, sure. I believe you entered in late afternoon.
it's late afternoon, yeah.
It's late morning at the moment. It's approaching midday.
Late morning, okay.
Does that feel like?
Remember, you guys did leave
noticeable?
at dawn.
Yeah, so that's notice. Oh, so is that noticeably wrong for us?
No, you've been traveling for a couple of hours.
Yeah. Okay.
Seems right. But by your guess, you're probably still another hour away from town.
It's best if we get to town as quick as possible.
Yes, I think that makes sense, but let's not push ourselves or the mounts if we need to stop. Hopefully we may manage to get there
In one piece.
unharassed.
Vargir, you will notice that Obak is kind of dragging his hoofs a bit now as well.
He's still got the specialist head, right?
Hmm.
Is it? Can I drag it?
I would need a strength check, not for if you can do it, but how difficult it's going to be.
Okay.
Strength or athletics.
I would just yeah. I'll see how I feel about it. Let's go with strength or athletics. You said?
Yep, either one.
I go with athletics, so I get a +4 to those. Oh, that's a natural 20. +4, so 24.
Now it's not easy, but you get it on like the right angle that you're like, okay, I can do like 10 steps. Take a breath. 10 steps. You get in that rhythm of giving it a haul almost. And yeah, it's going to tire you, but you can do this no problem. You re-angle it so it's like on like almost the top of the skull, so it's the smoothest side, and start dragging it. But yeah, you give Obak a bit of a break, and it kind of does its cliche.
Little fucker.
And continues on. So you just want to head straight into town?
I think that's our best bet.
All right. You push on, and the sweat starts to build up now, as you can feel the heat of the day, the midday sun coming. Eventually, you do see the borderline of Vathrond, and I will actually bring you back over to Vathrond.
Yeah, a moment, please, hold
And as you are entering, so you're kind of coming in from the west of town, you start seeing the buildings pop up. You're following the railroad as well, so you see that station house coming up in front of you, and you notice that there is quite a bit of movement around town. The I don't want to say villagers, but the inhabitants of the town are going around their daily business. It's midday, so all the stalls seem to be open, shops seem to be open, people are having chats in the streets. But I'll say you are on the border of town with a basilisk head and a body on a disc. How would you like to proceed?
I suppose we go straight to church, yes?
Yeah, we might want to put a cover over that. Don't know how townsfolk will feel about severed
Like
heads.
a blanket or something?
Yes. Or a sleeping bag or something.
Can anyone clean it at all? Like magical? I know some people have that ability.
Well, out of my repertoire.
Not here. I can find a pail of water and give it a scrub down, but no magic.
Which one was the church?
Number
6.
6.
Big blue building.
Right in the middle. Fantastic.
So I'd say you guys are down by like where this crosses. You've just come into the edge of town. And the rest of the buildings that aren't numbered, they're just residences. Cottages and shacks and stuff like that.
Yeah, the plan was to just head straight to the church and see if they can help Bellinor, right?
Sure.
And was it Balinor who wanted the head, or was that separate? I can't remember.
It was Bellinor, yeah.
Okay.
Oh no. Hey, why don't you go on ahead to the church? I'll go fetch Garunda. I know she's not in a good spot, but I'm sure he'd be excited to see his friend.
Sounds good.
All right. Where are you going to go look for Garunda?
I remember him telling me he was staying at the Salvation Hotel.
He did.
Shit. There was something hey, Ghost.
Hey,
When you go talk to him, can you just maybe ask him a question about the name? Is it Zudor or Zodor?
Zodor,
What?
I believe, is the name you're thinking of.
Zodor.
Zodor Tariff. Just a person of interest that the church is looking for. Just if he has any information about him, be nice to know.
You say Tariff?
Correct, yeah.
You're gonna have to catch me up there, friend. Wasn't it Tariff's orders that a stranger walking fellow we ran into was following?
It is. We don't know if it's the same person, though. It seems odd if it's a coincidence.
That does seem strangely odd. Oh, I don't like that. Sure, I'll throw in a mention.
Appreciate it.
Hey, talk to him yourself. I'll bring him over. Back in a minute.
All right, and off you go. Let's roll for it. All right, we'll follow Ghost first.
Hey,
You head up to the Salvation Hotel as your party kind of takes the other street away as they move off. Tell that you're getting some glances, but because they're kind of bordering on the outskirts of town, it's not as obvious as it could be. But eventually you walk up to Salvation Hotel and you see I believe a human standing up the front. Arms crossed. Kind of bigger build. Can I help you?
oh yeah, I'm actually looking for one of the guests staying here. Running a task for him and told us we could find him in this place.
Huh. We don't normally disclose guests' information. Are you looking to stay?
No, I'm not. But I know his name. Would you want me to just go knock on his door or something?
We don't allow strangers to walk up to the doors. Feel free to go inside and talk to Jev, though.
Right. Yeah.
He'll be at the counter. Kind of like steps back and opens the door and watches you walking in, and he's kind of just standing in the doorway. But as you come in, you see this very nice foyer, almost. There's a little fountain in the middle, and a lot of gold-plated paint picture frames and stuff around. There's a leather couch over by a fireplace. It seems like a sitting room almost. But sure enough, behind the counter is an orc, kind of like moustache twirled up, teeth prodding out. Kind of looks up over his monocle and goes, "Oh yes, hello. Welcome to the Salvation Hotel. How may I be of service?"
Oh, you didn't spare any expense on this place, did you?
No, we try to provide the best and utmost quality for our clients. Are you looking to stay with us today? Your name?
Well, I'm not looking to stay. Name's Ghost.
Ghost, pleasure to meet you. My name is Jebediah. I run things around here. But are you looking to stay for a night, a week, or what services are we able to provide you? You're staying for the what is it called? Phaethon's Fall.
I'd love to say I was if I knew what it is.
Oh, you give me actually a history check quickly.
Hey. Oh. 22.
22. You've definitely heard of Phaethon's Fall. It's a holiday celebrated across Khorvaire. A member of the Church of the Silver Flame once took down a bunch of were-rats in Shan by sacrificing himself to give the power to the people to clear them out of the streets. It is a controversial holiday, as the Church of the Silver Flame celebrate it, but a lot of lycanthropes and shifters do not.
And lycanthropes and shifters being good, well members of society in this world.
They're a lot more common. Definitely shifters are that can get animalistic qualities. Not full turn into a bear or a wolf or a rat, but they descend from that lineage.
Yep. Understood. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I believe it's in about 2 days' time on the 25th of Brachus.
Oh, like my calendar must have been off. Seems I thought it was still further away than it was. Hey, out of curiosity, what's the rate on a room for the night?
Oh, well, here you can spend 5 gold per room, and we will make sure you are absolutely well taken care of.
Oh, I bet you would. Gold trim and all. Unfortunately, I think I might be a little on my budget. Look, I'm actually kind of under a little bit of time pressure. I'm meant to be meeting some people, but you have a guest here, Gurunda. Small green fellow has a spider named Claire. I'm hoping you can pass on a message.
Aye, we absolutely can. Let me check if they're still staying with us. Looks through this big tome that he has in front of him. Gurunda. Yes, checked in just over a week ago.
That'd be the one. And he's still here?
Yes, he is. Hasn't left since. Walks about the town every now and then, but I can definitely pass on a message if you want to leave it here for him.
Fantastic. He hasn't gone wandering this morning, has he?
Not that I have seen. I've been quite preoccupied with duties around the hotel.
Fair enough. You just let him know that the strangers he met on the road have found his friend.
Oh, very ominous.
Silver Flame.
Kind of scribbles down. You see him writing on a piece of paper. Strangers you met on the road have found your friend. Well, I hope the sheriff doesn't catch me with this kind of note in my possession. I'll be sure to pass it on. And he tucks it away in the tome.
Very well done. Well, thanks for your service, Jebediah, was it?
That's correct.
Aye. Well, guess we'll see you around.
Gives a
Real
nod.
nice. I'll sort of dip my hands in the fountain and run them through my hair as I.
Oh, that's not for you see him
Next time.
visibly stress over that as you walk out, and the human security just looks at you like lips pursed together, and then closes the door as you leave.
Take care, big fella.
Does not respond.
Not
The rest of you, you skirt around the edge of town, and as you approach the church, you see it looks a little bit different than last time you saw it. There seem to be some decorations and kind of symbols and stuff hanging from it. Almost like a sword through the head of a rat sigil. It's not a replica. It seems a bit more tasteful than that. It's almost like branding. Couple of flags surround the church, but sure enough, you approach the doors and they are wide open.
Is it like a reception or something?
I don't think most churches you just go in and there's usually a holy person waiting, doing the tasks in there.
As I'm like settling up Obak, I'm like,
Yeah, you can just walk into a church. As I'll start like heading up the steps and
Sure.
heading in.
You walk in, and up the front, the first time you guys came in, I think it was you and Hera came here. You see that it's kind of got those windows that are pointing the sunlight down to the front of the church, and the statue of a female there holding a sword up, the symbol of the Church of the Silver Flame. But in front of it, you see more of this paraphernalia of swords through rats' heads and depictions of almost Renaissance painting style of this scene of a martyr standing in the streets of Shan fighting off these were-rats. And in one of the lines of the pews, you see a darker-skinned woman in silver and white robes that you recognize as Mother Johanna as she finishes nailing up one of the paintings.
Mother Johanna.
Oh, Bliss, you've returned. Oh, she puts her hammer and nails down and comes out and meets you in the center of the aisle. Oh, bless my heart, I thought things had taken a turn for the worse when you didn't return.
Things aren't going so well, as I kind of reference Bellinor floating on the disc.
Oh my. Quick, let's get this out of the main corridor. And she gestures you to come to a side room. You all kind of squeeze in there. It's one of those like awkward church offices or teachers' dorm rooms where you're all kind of in there.
Beautiful.
There's way too many people in this room than there should be, plus a body on a floating disc. Sorry, I just caught Ian at the side of my eye.
I only just put two and two together.
As she goes, quick, let's get her onto the table. And she goes, 1, 2, 3, and you lift her up and put her onto the table. What has happened? What?
She's been petrified by a basilisk.
A basilisk? Well, I've only heard stories before, but do you think is she still alive? As she kind of starts like checking around and doing the checks that you've already done a couple of times on your trip.
As she asks that, I'll kind of look at I'll look at names. Molokov.
Yes, she does seem to be alive, but we cured another of a similar ailment. We're hoping maybe you have something that can do the same?
Well, I will have to check my inventory. I don't keep unpetrification antidote on standby, but maybe the silver flame can bless us as we. Well, it is a special week, and maybe miracles are true. Yes, I'll see what I can do. But thank you for bringing her back. I was really starting to worry.
You seem a little bit concerned about how long we took.
Well, yes, the last time I spoke to you was over a week ago.
What?
You have been gone for quite some time.
Does time move differently in the mists? Is that what's happened here? For us, it's been maybe a day or two.
Well, I've never traveled there myself.
But you live close, like you would have heard people talk about it. Is this a common thing when people go into the mists, they come out some unspecified time later, or?
Mom, you're muted.
Michael's having a panic attack.
Michael's not here.
He's not here. Yeah, he's just
This is
freaking out.
This is him walking down the street. I have heard tales of travelers, but you never know when they are calling a fish the size of their hand or the size of a dragon. Well, nevertheless, you've found Bellinor, and that's what matters. You see, she's quite focused on the body.
like in a weird way, or just
Oh
like?
no, just like
Okay.
she was sheltering her, and
okay.
they obviously got to know each other.
Cool.
I suppose you want some sort of. I did promise a reward. Vargir, was it you? You wanted to go through her belongings?
Well, only to find where she was, but kind of sorted that. But wouldn't be a bad thing having a favor from the church at some point.
Of course. Well, you did whatever time you did spend in those horrid lands. You did choose the right time to come back. Give me a moment, maybe an hour or so. I'll try and put something together for you. The church doesn't normally pay in money, but we can pay in magical help or divine help.
Favors are always good to keep for a rainy day.
I agree.
DM, if I look at the stuff I got from when I was just walking around, one of those things was a book. Has it like weathered and aged since I picked it up? And now I've taken it out of the mists and I look at it?
When you got it, it wasn't in brand new condition.
Sure.
And you look down at the pages and kind of flick through them quite quickly. It has not aged significantly.
Okay.
It'd be like if I owned a book for a year on my bookshelf. I don't think it would actually change.
Sure. Okay, cool. So
but
like
no, it hasn't become dust.
Yeah. Or like suddenly it's all yellowed before it was all clean.
It looks pretty much the same.
Yeah, I am flicking. If anyone's looking, it is a book. It is called The Star House of Making. But I'm flicking through and trying to just see if anything's like gone weird with it or anything. Maybe while we're walking to wherever we're gonna meet Ghost, or if we're staying here, who knows?
Mother Johanna, before we leave, can I ask you a quick question?
Always. The Silver Flame is always open to those that are seeking it.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier that you suspect a character, Zodor Tarav.
Oh, yes. That vagabond.
We came across that same name in the mists when we met up with a party of 3, some kind of steel-born.
Most likely some of his associates or someone he's hired.
Right. Has he been particularly interested in, well, silver of late?
Well, that would explain why he stole such a gracious artifact from the church.
Well, innocent till proven guilty. We can't make those assumptions quite yet.
Well, I sure can. You're a bit more of a straight and narrow mind than I am. Although, I should not be so judgmental. You are right. And she kind of was almost like telling herself off there.
Not that you have no reason to suspect him. I think he has a pretty good motive if it's the same person that Korg was talking about. But thanks. Just kind of nice to clear that up.
Of course. Please, feel free to take a seat. I'll bring you some tea while I try and attend to poor Bellinor here.
As I look at the rest of the party.
Well, the Ghost knows where we went. If he's going to bring Garunda, this is where he'll come.
She kind of shuffles you out into the main hall-ish, and you kind of take some seats, and she eventually brings you some tea. But you see that she's focused on in the room. She's running in and out, bringing some vials and some scrolls, and obviously just trying to work out what to do. I'd say at this point, Ghost, you approach the Church of the Silver Flame and see the stuff hanging around it, setting up for some kind of day. But you walk in and you see your companions sitting in the pews drinking tea.
Wonderful. I'd like to say I took a route by the edge of the market to get back, just keeping an eye out, seeing if Garunda is around.
Okay, give me a perception check.
3.
It's pretty busy today, and your mind is you're almost looking too hard for Garunda.
Yeah.
You kind of, looking specifically for a goblin that you start to pick up on other people's qualities. You're like, no, that's a human. No, that's an orc. But eventually you reach the church.
And Michael was so kidding when I said I thought that was still a few weeks away, but just bloody connected the dots for me. Thank you, sir.
It was him saying the date, and I was like, I suddenly flipped to the diary part, and I've written the date down, and I was like, well, that's a wee ways off.
Sorry, what did you say the day that festival was, TM?
It is on the 25th.
Of
Baracus, and they said it was 2 days away. So you'd assume you're on the 23rd.
Yeah. Thanks, sir. Well, no luck on my end. You're looking mightily comfortable.
Yeah, just waiting on Lady Johanna to tend to Eleanor.
How long is she going to be?
She said maybe about an hour.
I mean, you mentioned, I think you mentioned, Michael can't remember, Zordo had a establishment somewhere in town?
Yeah, actually, I wouldn't mind going and checking that out, maybe having a chat with him.
I think that's quite a good idea. I'm feeling particularly mischievous. Hey, by the way, anyone else think like time skipped by? I could have sworn the festival was...
We were just talking about this.
Apparently been a week. We've been away.
Time seems to move differently in there or out of there.
Oh, shit. Really?
Have you said you'd been in before, hadn't you?
Yeah, like I said, it was, it's not really something I have memory of. It's all a little hazy. When you're running away from extreme danger, you don't really take much attention to what time it is or what day necessarily. A lot of night, a lot of darkness, a lot of mist.
And even thinking back on it, Ghost, your priority was not tracking time at all.
Well, that might be a story you tell us another time.
How would you guys feel about having a chat with this Rav character?
From what you told us, he's a bit of a known scoundrel. Is that right?
Apparently he has a bit of a reputation, yeah.
Is it maybe time we make ourselves known to the sheriff?
Wouldn't be a bad call. Maybe he might have a bit of information about it before we kind of dive headfirst into some kind of gang.
Well, at least it seems like time's on our side. If it really has been a week since we went in, but it was a day for us, it means whatever they're working on, it's going to be slow going. Perhaps.
That's only if it's consistent. We don't know that.
Hey, with the current equation, who knows what kind of variables there are? That's part of the excitement, though, right?
I don't know how exciting it would be to walk in and then suddenly walk out 200 years later. Everyone you know, everyone you love is dead. That might not be fun.
But a whole 200 years. Imagine what could change.
You see an older gentleman at the back of the church kind of shuffle off and walk out of the...
I figured I'd be a rather disturbing face in a place like this.
I think we might have a different opinion on that. I'm not sure that I want to... different priorities, maybe. But anyway. Well, yes, where do we want to go? Do we want to see the sheriff, or do we want to go take up lodgings again? I assume if it's been a week, they've given our rooms away.
Oh, yeah. Shit.
Aren't you like head honcho with though?
Oh, they will give us another room, but they will. Like it's.
You might have to pay for it this time.
Oh yeah, wait, hold up. Weren't you meant to wasn't she meant to sign those papers for you?
Oh yeah, she's had a whole fucking week to do it.
Yeah, I need to go back there. But no, they will give us accommodation. Either that or there's going to be a real problem here.
Well, do some of us want to go maybe introduce ourselves to the sheriff and some head to the tavern?
I think they're over the road from each other. I think.
Yeah, that's true.
More or
I
less.
think we should all go to meet the sheriff.
Sounds good.
We don't want to leave someone here with Bellinor?
We can
Or
come
you
back
think
after.
she'll... Oh, I suppose. Church is a safe place.
It took a while for Ghost to sort of properly depetrify, didn't he?
Yeah. Even though it kind of like happened, it was still, moving the shoulder and doing that over the afternoon.
Yeah.
And that was with the poison, the straight poison from the basilisk. Mother Johanna obviously might not have that, so you don't know what the process would be.
Perhaps there's something we can. Tell you what, I'm not much one for authoritarian figures. I don't mind them. We get along, but I don't step in their spaces. They don't step in mine. Plus, I should probably drop off Balinor's things. I'll sit around.
And where will we meet you then? Back at the tavern?
I
Yeah,
can come collect him.
I'll have a cold one ready for you in, let's say an hour. If nothing comes up with this cure, may as well leave Mother. What was her name?
Johanna.
Oh, thank you. I haven't been here before. To her business.
Okay.
All right, so
I'm going-
Ghost, you're staying behind, and the rest of you are going.
Which room is she in?
Oh, as I'll just point to the little office. But
Thank you, sir.
she seems quite busy, so maybe wait till she comes back out. She did shuffle us out, in that matter. So.
Runs up. You see Ghost disappear into this room.
Hi.
Hi, you don't know me. Cool. So the whole party, you going to sheriff's office? All right.
Where's the sheriff's quarters?
Number 2.
Are we leaving the skull here?
Yeah, you do still have that on you.
Yes, that is currently just kind of sitting by Obak. I think I'll take it to the sheriff's office. I think he's
Okay.
kind of one to show that stuff to.
Sure.
I thought it was for of the Bellinor.
Oh, it is. It is, but maybe Sheriff would like to know what surrounds his lands a little bit.
While we're walking over, who here has a silver tongue? I'll say, and then I'll realize that I've got hair in the group, and I'll say, who is good at talking to people? Who finds it easy to communicate and to convince, or etc.? I'm all right at it. It's not my strongest suit, but I'm not bad.
Eh,
Kind
You want me to do the talk? No?
people find me a bit odd, I think.
What? No, yeah, I am more of a listener and a reader.
Vargia, you've got a friendly face.
Thanks. So I've been told. Yeah, I mean, if you want me to talk, I can talk.
I'm happy to talk as well, but I'm not saying anyone can't talk. Just we want to put our best foot forward.
Sounds good. I mean, aside from a friend in there, as I referenced Ghost, I don't really have an issue with authority.
Me either.
Great. This will make this easy.
Well, let's go.
All right.
Cats in
Eventually,
the back.
you drag
in the
this. You drag this basilisk skull through the town, and you get quite a few more looks now, but they're not of shock or horror. This town is known for crews coming through and collecting bounties. Maybe not of this size. It's definitely wowing people, but it's a monster. There are monster hunters in this world. Makes sense. Eventually, you come up to the block over from where the Grey Beyond is, and you can see the tavern sitting just out of sight, or just down the road. And in front of you is a well put together, almost stone and brick building. Looks a lot more solid than a lot of the other buildings in town. There's a porch in front. The windows have iron bars over them, and the door looks of very sturdy wood.
Hey, is it just like a door straight into it, or is there like some steps up?
Yeah, like two steps kind of thing.
Okay. I'll just kind of turn to Molokov and be like, hey, you wanna give me a hand carrying this in?
Yeah, sure thing.
Between the two of you, you heave it up and burst it through the doors. Inside, you see a very clean and almost militaristic style room. All the books are in order. The pens and paper on the desk in the corner are lined up perpendicular, like perfectly parallel and all that stuff. And then sitting at the back of the room on a almost rocking chair, you see a similar creature to what you saw in the mists. A 7-foot tall metallic being. Wood intertwined where the limbs and joints should be. And the shiny, almost, it's not quite chrome, but it's reaching that stage. A full brimmed cowboy hat sitting just off kilter to the side, as this Warforged looks up and goes, "Hello, how may I be of service?"
I'll kind of walk up to the sheriff, put out my hand for a handshake, and say, "Sheriff."
It stands up and reaches out its hand as well. It meets you. How tall are you, Vargir?
Oh shit! I had this written down. Hold up.
He matches you, if not just a little bit taller.
I think I was like 6'5".
Yeah. So he stands at 7 foot tall, and reaches out the hand, and the grasp is firm, and you feel it kind of like, oh, it takes you a bit by surprise as you look into its eyes, and they kind of give off a bluish glow behind these lenses.
Cool.
Welcome to Vathrond Town.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here. This is my party. Molokov, Hera, and that's Puck.
You hear, just almost under his breath, without his lips moving, you hear the words Molokov, Hera, Puck, as if it's reciting it to memory.
I'm Vargir.
Well, it is a pleasure to meet you, and welcome to this town. I am the sheriff, and I do all I can to uphold the law and reason within these walls.
Sorry, Sheriff, I didn't catch your name.
Oh, I do apologize. You may not be familiar with our kind. We are assigned duties. After the war, I picked up the duty of sheriff. Therefore, that is what you can call me.
Sounds easy enough.
I do hope so. I don't mean to make pain or struggle for anyone in my town.
I assume not.
Sheriff, I wonder, did you hear about an incident in the bar maybe a little more than a week ago with some gnolls?
Yes, by the time I got there, the culprits had made haste. A cleanup crew was required, but we got it back to working order in no time.
And were you aware of the gnoll problem before that?
Yes, they have been hassling us for some time. I have heard now, though, a crew of adventurers took care of that.
That would be us.
Kind of like turns to you. Very well. Well done. I unfortunately did not put up a reward for this, so I have nothing to offer you.
That's fine. We're just making ourselves known to you. We've just come back from the mists on a different adventure, but you may see more of us around. Really, this is just introducing ourselves. We don't want to cross any lines. Are there any rules here that we need to be following that we haven't, or that we should be aware of?
It gives like a nod and then kind of like a side tilt to almost bring forward a file of remembering. Not that it's a struggle, it's just kind of going through the paces. You're more than welcome in our town if you play by the rules of civilization. We may be on the outskirts, but we truly do believe that everyone has a right to be here. We might not have the fancy towers. We might not have the mage schools or military academies. But we are a town and we are trying to thrive. You cause any trouble, and I will personally see to your end.
Wow. Fair call.
I like you, Mr. Sheriff.
It wasn't a threat, though, was it? He's literally just being matter of fact.
Yep.
Yeah, cool.
I have no opinion on you as of yet, but I believe I may like you eventually.
Hey,
I've just had a thought of the conversation between Hera and the Warforged.
oh god. Oh no. As I'm gonna kind of walk over to the is that have we still got is that skull like out in the open, or have we got a thing? We didn't put a thing over it, did we?
No, but you brought it inside. It's sitting like in the middle of the floor.
Yeah, I'll be like, also, I'm not sure if you knew that this was an issue, but we found the basilisk that's been kind of eating your crew or scavengers.
I don't personally own any crew. Adventurers are free to come to this town and take up contracts as they will. Although I have heard of this problem. Basilisks. And then he like recites off a basilisk-like blurb. Creatures known to spend their time underground and freeze their prey, but he just like kind of rattles that off real quickly.
Pokedex entry.
Yeah.
Hey, you seem to know an awful lot about basilisks. Do you know any other ways apart from their venom that can cure the petrification?
Kind of thinks for a while. Not that are on my records.
Damn.
But thank you for ridding us of this horror. Is this a gift to the town, or do you prefer to take it yourself?
Well, it belongs to Bellinor for now, but she can decide what she wants to do with it. But I was kind of hoping if you wouldn't mind me holding it here until she's back on her feet.
We are not a storage facility.
Fair.
Unless you have a criminal, then I am happy to put them in a cell.
Interesting.
As I look
point.
at. Oh no, I was gonna say as I look at Ghost.
Oh, he's not here.
Might we inquire? We've run across the name a couple of times, but Tariv, does that name ring a bell to you? Zodor Tariv?
Kind of thinks for a second. Zodor Tariv. I believe I have a file. He turns around and just like walks out of the room. Minute, 2 minutes, comes back with a file and puts it down on a desk and opens it up and sits down at this desk that I described before is off in the corner. Everything's very straight and perfect. Opens the folder and kind of like head moving as it turns past pages. Ah, here we go. Zodor Tariff. I have no solid proof on his criminal behavior, only rumors from townsfolk. I do believe that he has a few under his paycheck.
Yeah, have you came across the name Korg before? Steelborn like you.
Thanks. The name does not recognize. There are a few of us. Some have adopted different names than what they are supposed to go by.
Right.
You can't just assume they all know each other.
Well, most likely we fought on the battlefields and killed together. Therefore, we might know each other.
Never mind, you can just assume.
If I hear of this Korg, I will try and notify you.
We think he would be one of these under the pay of Tariv. We ran into them out in the mists, and they were looking for silver for some kind of machine that they'd found. I think they mentioned an artillery machine. Not sure if that rings any other bells for you, but something to be careful of, especially if he's stolen or is accused of having stolen things from the church and things. I don't know why silver specifically would matter. Do you have any ideas?
Silver is one of the components used for powering war machines from the Great War. a memory I don't like to think about often. If you
Is
do
there-
come across this Korg, and you can prove he is stolen from the church, I will see that he meets his justice.
We'll have a look into it. Yeah. I suddenly kind of like realize I'm like, actually, why hasn't the church came to the sheriff about this? It's like kind of like looking at the floor, like, wait a second.
They might have. He said he'd heard rumors from townsfolk. Interesting. Only if you feel comfortable sharing. But the other rumors you've heard about Tarab, is it all related to theft and stealing silver, or are there other things?
Not always theft. More, he is getting places to pay him for his protection.
Okay, bit of a gangster. Well, if we find any evidence, we'll certainly bring it to you.
That would be much appreciated. Please, do not think that we are friends, though. Evidence, much the same against you, will find justice.
Captain.
I feel like that's fair enough.
I think like he kind of portrays like you don't have a free pass to go and do whatever. He will treat everyone equally and fair depending on the evidence.
I'm curious, Sheriff, by what authority were you appointed to this town? And how far does your authority take, in terms of the surrounds of the town as well?
Kind of stops for a second and closes the file and moves back to his rocking chair. It has been some time since the war. And the people needed someone sturdy like me. I appointed myself as sheriff.
I see. And no one's ever kind of questioned or challenged that?
I do not see no reason to.
I don't want to give this machine a complex.
How many years have you been the sheriff of this town?
Going on 4 years.
Do you have a deputy, or is it just you?
It is just me.
And what governs your moral code?
Well, after the war, I had 2 years to seek out reprogramming.
And you've never worried if that programming was correct? If you're applying justice across the board, you've never worried that potentially you've been
See him like
misprogrammed?
start to sit back. You bring good thoughts to the table. What was your name? Puck. I will contemplate this, and I will let you know my answer when I have thought it through.
For what it's worth, from what we've seen, you seem to be down the straight and narrow, just interested.
The major town I came from before this, Staraluska, not far from here. That is where I picked up my moral compass, as you call it.
Very interesting. Was there anything else that we wanted to speak about here?
No, it's kind of nice just to introduce ourselves.
I appreciate it. It is nice to know your faces.
Likewise. As I kind of like look at the skull and I look at Molotov and I go, do you mind
Helping it back out?
Sure.
Thanks, bud.
Well, I'd like to go to Cali, so
All right. As you exit the sheriff's house, we will cut back to the church with Ghost and Mother Johanna. You push your way in, and she kind of like gives you a glance and sees the others leaving. You know, she's associated you with them, and kind of just goes, "Blessings be upon you." But 2 seconds. Grabs something else, grabs another book and a scroll, and puts it down on the table next to Bellinor. Look, if you're going to be in here, you may as well help. And she just shoves a scroll into your hand. Please, read.
Well, good thing I was offering. Ugh.
Can you give me a religion check, please?
It's cocked. Ooh, good thing I have a good modifier. That is a 13.
13. Takes you a bit of time to get the flow of how the scroll is written. It's almost not sing-songy, but it kind of has a rhythm to it. You're not casting spell or anything, but you're reading these weird paragraphs that are all kind of stitched together. And as you do, she nods and grabs another vial of something and stirs something together. And eventually, after maybe 10 or 20 minutes, she seems to have a little vial of greenish liquid. She goes, "Oh, wow, thank you for that. Would have been a lot slower if I had to read it myself. Now, I believe we can try and make her drink this. Here, come over here. Lend me a hand." And she does the same thing that the team did to you, and try and get it just in the mouth to pour down.
You could just make an incision. Probably be cleaner. I'm kidding. Look, they tried to pull it on me. She can hear everything we're saying. So.
On you? You were petrified too?
I fell to the beast as well.
Without even blinking, you feel two hands on your shoulders as she sits you down and starts examining you, being like, how interesting. Well, shh, it's okay. Let me see. Yeah, all right. And as she's doing this, you start to see Bellinor kind of blink and start coming to as the antidote is seeming to work on her.
Well, it might have done me well, but I think you should probably be paying more attention to our rising friend.
Of course. Bellinor? Bellinor, can you hear me? And she, goes over and, well, she's going to be exhausted. Maybe we give her a moment or two. Please, she gestures for you to exit the room.
She'll be stiff a while. Oh, hold on. Flip my case open and pull out Bellinor's pack.
Okay.
And just put it on a corner. And the compass orb as well. Kind of toss it up in my hand and then place that on top.
Sure.
Thanks for that.
Yes, you said that she can hear me. Bellinor, take all the time you want to get comfortable. We'll be waiting outside when you're ready. She closes the door behind her. I didn't quite catch your name. I'm sorry.
Friends call me Ghost.
Well, I hope that I can call you that as well. My name is Mother Johanna, and I believe it's about time I sort out some payment for you lot bringing back poor Bellinor. Here, and she gestures you over to another side room, and picks off the shelf 3 vials of almost kind of silvery liquid. Like you get those silver Sharpies, and if you squeeze them, it's that glittery kind of silver substance.
Yeah.
You and your friends seem like you'd like to get yourselves into a bit of danger.
Well, we are troublemakers of sorts, but...
Well, as much as I hope that no trouble finds friends at the church, it is also what we are built on. Ridding the world of darkness and pursuing the light. Here, take these with you, and use them where you feel like there is no other way to combat something. And she'll give you 3 silver vials, which when applied to a weapon, will ignore any resistances.
Ooh.
For a amount of time, which is a bit hard to discern.
I was about to ask, are these some vials that I have seen before?
Probably heard of, but not seen.
Right.
So they're one use only, so you have 3 uses. They're in 3 separate vials. And you can put them on a weapon or an arrow or a bolt or something, and that will ignore any resistance.
Fascinating. I'll write that down in a minute. Okay, I might be a bit of a troublemaker, but so long as this isn't taking any value from the church, that could be doing better elsewhere.
Oh no, these have been sitting for well, months, years now. We're lucky enough that we don't get any fighting in town.
It's a surprisingly quaint town on the edge of the mists.
We like to keep it that way.
I bet. Any place that's a little piece of paradise, kept peaceful. Get to anyone wandering these places. On a more on that note, this Zodor fella.
You see her roll her eyes and quickly lose all this kind of posture she was holding herself up with. Ugh.
Right. I know, troublemaker, and potentially a thief.
Potentially.
Well, for our sakes, between you and me, let's say he is. People with questionable morals are perhaps my specialty. Vargir mentioned he had a hideout, base of operations in town. Can you tell me any more about it?
It's not so much a hideout as it's where he bases his operations out of. Down in the station house. He's acquired quite a nice room on the end. They hire out officers, you see, and to whoever takes it, and he's taken them all.
At the station house?
Yes, down by where the train comes in.
Hey, so all the new folk coming into town and those leaving has to pass through his purview.
You can see where he gets the coin from.
I see. So he's a swindler as well as a thief.
That's a lot nicer word than I would have used, but sure, let's go with swindler.
Have you seen him around town in the last few days?
Oh, I don't really get out much, and he doesn't quite come in here to pray for his forgiveness, so no, we don't see a lot of each other.
Interesting. You mentioned the I don't know if she mentioned. He seems to have a couple under his payroll. Any other names of note?
Well, who's not under his payroll at this point? I mentioned that we don't have a lot of violence in the town, and some of it is partly because of him.
So he pays people to...
The other way around, I'm afraid. They pay him to keep trouble away.
That's quite a curious thought. Doesn't seem like it worked. Not with the Knoll attack a week ago.
No. Which makes you think, doesn't it?
Well, my friends are probably going to pay him a visit. Hopefully. By the sounds of it, he's probably not kicking around town.
Well, he doesn't really walk around much. If he does, he normally goes to the Grey Beyond to drown his sorrows and probably ask for forgiveness at the bottom of an ale cup.
So, me just pushing a name. Who
are you thinking of?
Kelly.
Yes.
So, Kelly might know.
Well, I'm pretty sure she's one of the ones that pays him.
Ah, right. So you should go have a word with her then.
Well,
any of your followers, your close relations in town, have a particular problem with him?
how do you mean?
Well, let's say are disgruntled with the fact they have to keep paying a man for supposed protection.
I'm honestly not sure. I don't really discuss it with them. They tend not to acknowledge what they're doing. Especially to a mother of the church.
That would be understood. Right. I guess I best be going. Say, is there a shrine of the sovereign host in town?
No, not that I know of. You are free to pray to them in here. All faiths are welcome, but not a dedicated one, not that I'm aware of.
I understand. Sometimes it's nice to have a more familiar environment, but we of faith all share a similar purview.
Of course.
Thanks for your hospitality.
She gives a nod and turns and goes off.
When Belenor's feeling more comfortable, tell her she can come grab a beer at the Grey Beyond. On us.
I'm sure to make sure she's fit for that before letting her go back out into the wild.
She'll be in safe hands with this crew. They're good people.
The amount of times I've heard that, and she moves behind the altar and leaves you by yourself.
Wonderful. I'll sit for about a minute.
Sure.
And then sort of just looking around at the walls and the altar and the detailings. The Church of the Silver Flame's always been a bit of not an unfamiliar place. It's all religion and it's all faith in everyone. Everyone shares that same sort of comfort, but it's still a different place.
It is, and you do know that the Church of the Silver Flames almost origin story is a bit different than the Sovereign Host. The blurb on the back of a book story for the Church of the Silver Flame is that a angelic being vanquished all the demon overlords and rose up and became the Silver Light, which gave, and then there was light. And they believe that one entity is top dog, whereas the Sovereign Host is a collection of a pantheon.
Well, still nice to believe. I'll head on out.
Nice. You're heading straight for the Grey Beyond?
Yeah. I think I'll do that.
Okay. Getting there before you, just the rest of the party, you go into the old establishment that has a bit of a familiar feeling to it. The triangle pillar in the middle of the room, patrons around drinking the ale, and frantically rushing behind the bar, the gnome Brackle is... yes, sorry, let me just... Oh! You're back. Hello, the usual? Do you have a usual? I don't think you do have a usual. What can I get you? Hello. Oh, you're not all here. Have you lost one? Oh, such a pity. Anyway, I'll start pouring drinks. And he just turns around and starts pouring the drinks.
Is Callie here?
You see him, stop and then keep pouring a drink. Turn around. I think she's in her office at the moment. Would you like me to go get her?
Yes, please. Send her out.
Of course. He has a moment where he doesn't know whether to finish pouring the drinks or not, decides to finish pouring them, gives it all across the counter, and then waddles off into the back room.
Well, guess we'll have an ale. Oh, look, here's Ghost.
I'd say, it's probably about the same amount of time.
Into the door. And definitely, are we talking like saloon doors in the Grey Beyond?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Kick those open with more force and vigor than someone who's 4'3" should have.
Sure.
4 foot at best. Sorry.
They swing open, and one of them smacks against the wall, and a pitcher goes and falls down as they come back.
Jesus. What are you doing to us?
See who it is let go of his sword hilt.
That's just poor wall hanging. Hey, don't look so startled.
Seb, did you have a question?
I think Dale did.
Oh, Dale, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I was just gonna ask quickly. 4 is the salvage market and 5 is the trade square.
Correct.
I know the difference.
Yeah, so what's like the difference?
The 5 is your blacksmith, your apothecary, your adventuring gear. and 4 is your market.
Rare artifacts
Knickknacks.
and gotcha.
Food,
What-
yeah, stuff like that.
Was
Maybe not
there
rare artifacts.
Right,
Think,
right. Oh, okay, gotcha. So like,
I think the difference between night markets and like a
shopping
mall,
mall,
where
yeah.
everyone's got their own
Go-
shop.
okay.
Yeah.
okay, in that case, would I know that there might be like a bookshop / library in the trade square?
I would say that it would probably not be a specific bookshop, but it's
No.
probably in combination with the adventuring gear store.
Right, that's where I'd more likely find books though.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's cool. I was just sort of asking for later on.
Uh-huh.
How
Well,
was
how was the?
Eleanor?
Go, Seb.
Oh, yeah, right. Well, good news. She's awake. Although much stiffer than I was. I have a feeling that throwing together a concoction of anti-paralysis is a little less effective than the anti-venom of the beast itself. But hey, that's biology for you.
Well, I'm just glad she's okay.
Aye, as we are.
Ish.
I left a message with Lady Johanna to send her our way once she's feeling right up to it.
Great.
At this
We
point, oh, sorry, Ghost.
I don't know. I was just gonna tell him we met with the sheriff.
Oh yeah, how was our shiny friend?
Yeah, he was alright. Very
He was very down
Word.
the line.
That's the one.
Seems to be a running trend.
Came from a place nearby called Saralaska. Didn't know too much about Zodor, just that he doesn't really have any solid proof that he's a criminal, so he's really had to not pay much attention, it seems.
Well, seems I might know a little bit more about Zodor than he does. It's all about asking the right questions. Johanna let me in on the knowledge that apparently the majority of the townsfolk pay him for supposed protection, including your dear friend Callie. Their
Protection from what? From him?
Well, it seems like he. How do I put this? Claims a service that he doesn't necessarily uphold. Didn't do much good for those gnolls that came in that we beat up the other week.
Yeah,
Although it doesn't seem like it's something that's widely spoken about.
maybe it's time to have a chat with him.
He's rented every single one of the offices down at the station house.
Hmm.
Prime real estate if you're looking to swindle those who come in and those who leave.
Did anyone ever encounter any swindling when they entered town?
I didn't come on train.
Well, we were followed by the gnolls
Followed
From
by
the-
the gnolls.
from the train tracks to when we were here. That's how they assumed we had lots of coins on us.
Seems like the boss might right have been paying them too. That makes
Possibly.
sense.
Keep
Running his own little
charges.
fighting operation just out of town.
Well, yeah, and also keep the town seem like it's in threat. Gives people reason to be scared and pay you off.
This son of a bitch is getting smarter by the minute.
Do you think the big metal thing from the mine was silver?
So what exactly?
No, it was silver.
Made of silver.
Made of silver metal. What else
Oh.
kind of silver?
You guys inspected it, right? I think it was a close enough look to determine that it was iron and metal of silver of that size would be a gold mine. Like, no pun intended, but like that much
Silver
silver
mine.
on a Warforged Titan's arm would just like that'd be the piece
Right,
de
okay.
resistance. Like that'd be amazing to find that. But no, it's just bland metal and iron, steel.
Quick question. I don't know obviously how much Vargir knows about. Well, probably not much at all. But does like the Steelborn have like silver in some of their like internal mechanisms? Or
Give me a history check.
Sure. I might, in character, ask Ghost about it. I don't think I would know.
Okay.
I think that up in conversation, I would
Sure.
be like, do you think Warforged have silver inside them?
Ghost, you can give me.
I was actually thinking the same thing. So yeah,
You can give me a history check.
That's plus what? 15.
I thought I was going to say plus 15.
Sorry, 15 total.
35.
It's happened before. There is definitely upgrades and customization and stuff like that have happened to Warforged even during the war. So more than possible, but it's not a commonplace thing.
And then just while I'm at it, racking my brain of.
Sorry, 2 seconds.
Oh, good.
Hey, let's talk about
Jesus,
things
time to
when it's
pee.
done.
I swear to goodness, if Callie hasn't done this bloody paperwork, it's had a fucking week to do it.
A good fucking talking
Well,
to.
she didn't.
I gave
she
her
didn't
I
really-
gave her a real big talking to before we left. I was like, "You fill this out. When I get back, if it's not done, there's gonna be a problem."
She's
doesn't fuck
paying.
around.
She's paying Zodor, right?
Yeah.
So maybe she's like, because she didn't really seem like heavily threatened. She wasn't like.
Well, she went to talk to them, and that's how she got kidnapped.
Yeah, that's true.
So
She went to talk to the Gnolls specifically. I don't know if she went to talk to Zodor.
I don't know. I feel like she probably went to talk to the guy she's paying more so than the muscle.
Yeah, which also it does make sense that Zodor will be paying the Gnolls.
Yeah, it's a good point by Hera there.
He's very clearly very interested in like artifacts from around, from whatever it was called, from the war.
Yeah,
Like if he's
Great War.
digging out that massive thing, he's found some like artillery thing.
I know this might be a really basic thing that we just completely missed, but has anyone found out what race he is?
Who's that?
Zodor.
Zodor.
No,
Actually, no. Yeah.
Might be a good question to follow up on because if he's a Warforged, it kind of makes sense that he's thinking about all these artifacts from the war.
I think it might have come up if he was stillborn.
Okay.
Possibly.
That's worth asking Kelly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
definitely
yeah.
worth asking Kelly.
Well, we'll find out. We'll see where that conversation goes. But yeah, we'll ask that.
Carry on.
All right. While I was at it, I was going to rack my brain for my understanding of. Probably won't have a lot of it either, but the how commonplace. We've already learned that silver is a energy source for some of these weapons from the Great War.
Yeah, not necessarily ammunition, more just like a fuel of some kind.
Yeah. So I'm kind of thinking of what sort of percentage of specifically these artillery-esque weapons that I might have known of from that time ran on silver and other similar sources of power. As a whole, like it might. So, for example, it's not. I know that it's possible that some of the Warforged had adaptions that were put in that might have contained silver as a power source, but it wasn't commonplace, even though they were creations from the Great War as well.
Yeah.
At the time of the Great War.
Yeah, I would say that you've heard of it being used as fuel. It almost gives it the extra kick. It's like 98 fuel kind of thing. Real
Gotcha.
high octane using silver. Other things definitely have been used and were used. I mean, it was a 100-year war. The resources were running thin. But putting silver in something would definitely give it that extra oomph.
Kick it up a notch. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. So,
Uh,
as far as my knowledge goes, Vargir, they're not run on silver. That's like how would I put it? It's like firing a stick of dynamite from a crossbow. It kind of gives it a little extra oomph.
At this point, you hear the
It's a
doors,
pretty big imp.
but just a little bit. Bolt, dynamite.
Yeah.
The doors open from the back office, and you see Brackle kind of run back to the bar and quickly attend to someone that's standing there waiting, tapping their fingers. And before Kelly comes out, you see a kind of maybe 5 foot tall human walk out with kind of almost scraggly mutton chops and kind of balding on his head, but curly hair around, kind of a little bit hunched over. His one shoulder's left, his left shoulder's kind of down a bit further than the other, and he kind of turns around and goes, a mumble you can't hear, as you see Kelly come and stand in the doorway and go, nice to see you, and I'm sure we'll be seeing you around shortly. And as he moves towards the door, you see 3 people from 3 different tables stand up, quite buff, some leathers worn across them, put down their ales, and they go over to him and escort him out.
As
Can I
he's
take
leaving-
Sure, as you are. I mean, can I take a look at these figures that have stood up and look for any iconography on the leathers, a symbol?
Yeah, they will walk past your table. They don't seem to take any notice of you. So give me an investigation check, and Puck, if you want to jump in on that as well, you can.
Yeah, definitely interested in looking. I want to do something before they leave the bar, basically. Get us in like walk, but yeah.
So I'll say this before I hear the numbers. Do you want to sit and watch them come past you, or do you want to get to the door before them? Because if so, then you're not going to be able to investigate.
Yeah, sure. I'm happy just to go. I want to walk.
Okay.
I'm gonna like bump into him basically.
Sure. So let's go the investigation from Ghost first.
So 24 from me.
24. Very nice. They're not wearing blatant signets or badges or anything, but you do get the sense that they are wearing kind of browns, greens, and kind of like yellow mustards as their colors.
Browns, greens, and yellows. Right.
Are you bumping into one of the people that have stood up, or the main person, Puck?
I'm going for the main dude. I've necked half my drink, and I'm just gonna like act drunk and kind of just stumble through them as if I'm trying to go up to the bar.
Sure. You bump into him. Oh, thanks. Oh,
I would like to pick a pocket as I do it.
okay. Give me.
La dog.
You're just trying to grab anything in the pockets?
Like I assume like as he's walked around, like he's got like a pouch or like I don't know if he's just got a pocket. I don't know, but
He is kind of dressed a bit nicer. Almost a suit-ish jacket with kind of penguin tails that are kind of tapered off. He doesn't have like a sling across him, like a sling bag or anything, but there is definitely a pouch on the side of him that looks not buttoned up, but like kind of clipped. But you can give me a sleight of hand check.
That's a 24.
You bump into him and he goes, oh, and you kind of, your hand reaches in, and as you tuck your hand into the pocket, you feel a hand on your wrist pull it away. As he goes, oh, now, sorry about that. I didn't mean to bump into you.
Yeah, you should watch where you're going.
Oh, yes, my apologies. Please, may I buy you a drink for my inconsistency? And he will gesture you towards the bar.
I was going there anyway. Keep walking over towards the bar.
All right. He has his hand. He grabbed your wrist and kind of pushed it off. He hasn't made a thing of like grabbing it, being like, it's almost like he's just kind of knocked your hand away. But now his hand is on your shoulder, and he goes up to the bar and goes, Brackles, can you please give us an ale for my little friend down here on the house? I'm sure Kelly can sort us out a little bit later. And
What are these goons doing?
they are now kind of just standing in the middle of the room, like ready to leave, but now they're not sure whether they should sit back down or not. Brackles kind of goes, yes, of course. Here you go. Why, thank you, my friend. Here, this one's on me. Next time I will be more careful, and I won't run into you. I promise. Hopefully...
Look out for the little people.
Of course we do. Of course we do. Now, if you excuse me, I've got plenty of business to attend to before I go to sleep for the night. And he will start to walk out.
And his hand was just on my shoulder.
Correct.
Okay, cool. Is he wearing any like rings or anything on that hand? This isn't to steal. This is just to observe.
No, the one on your shoulder. Yes, he has a middle ring with a signet on it. Give me an investigation check at disadvantage, as it is on your back.
Yep, no, that's all good. Well, that nat 20 won't count for anything then.
Oh, unless you roll another one.
No, I rolled 2 dice at the same time. Sorry, investigation is a 21.
21. You do catch a glimpse that there is a symbol on it, but you're not quite sure what you can make it out to be. As he kind of moves it and kind of puts his hand back in his pockets and puts his head down in his shoulder and walks out again. The 3 goons kind of follow him out the door. Kelly comes up to the bar and goes, "Oh, well, it looks like you've had a bit too much. What have I missed?"
Just like straight back to normal. I'm like, who was that?
That was a business associate. I see you guys have decided to come back to check out how far we are with these papers, I assume.
I've come back to collect the finished papers, Cather. You've had more than enough time.
Of course.
The name of that gentleman, who was it?
Oh, that is Mr. Tariff.
Yo, fucking.
You might be seeing him about town. Hopefully you don't embarrass yourself again. That was quite the act you put on.
Well, we've heard quite a few things about him, none of them very flattering.
Oh, now, don't be one to listen to gossip. Would you like those papers? I'll go and get them post-haste.
Yes, I'll wait here.
She gives a nod and walks out the back again. The rest of you see Puck up at the bar and have just seen this debacle of him bumping into someone, him leading him to the bar and then leaving.
I'm gonna ask the bar.
So what was that?
Brackle.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, who is he? What's the nature of his relationship with Callie?
Oh, they seem to be good friends. Comes across maybe once a week. They have a meeting. I don't really...
Leaves with a heavier purse?
Oh, I'm not one to judge how heavy one's purse is. I just bought the drinks around here.
Yeah, okay. I don't really believe you, but anyway.
Kelly comes back out and goes, you believe these are all that I need to do? And she hands over a bunch of papers. It's probably going to take you a bit of time to make sure it's all done properly, but it looks like each page is filled out.
Okay. I'll say, well, if everything's in order here, you'll be properly guild certified. But,
well, that'll be
take a little bit of time to look at.
Of course, take your time. I've been sitting on these for about a week now and didn't think you were coming back. But if you do deem us important enough, then I'd love to have the signal, the recommendation outside. It might bring in some more business. More business means more money, and more money means better accommodations.
Yes. Kelly, the nature of your relationship with Tariv.
Yes.
Is he running a protection racket here?
How do you mean?
Do you know what a protection racket is?
Are you about to offer me one?
No. You know who I work for. I've got what I want.
By signing these papers, do I get your protection? Are you going to be my little bodyguard standing out on the porch?
No, Kelly, I'm so far above being your bouncer.
This is Reese laughing, not Kelly.
But if you are house affiliated, there are certain advantages other than just a reputation, and the house does seek to protect those investments it makes.
Well, it seems like it's a win for all then.
You think about it and you let me know if Tariv is a problem. And
Of
we'll see
course.
what happens.
I'll let you know if he bumps into anyone and causes a hassle. She looks you straight in the eye as she says that.
Yeah, I'm just staring her down. I'm not even saying anything. I'm just staring her back.
The others of you notice this conversation happening probably just out of earshot, and they are now just staring at each other.
That looks mightily uncomfortable.
I'm gonna take the drink that the guy gave me.
Yep.
I'm just gonna drink it, but I'm not losing my eye contact. I'm just staring her down.
She'll look back.
I got all day. You might want to move on to other. I'm not moving.
At the moment, she is not moving as well.
Cool.
Hey, Hera, what's your take on this? They're just. Do you think they have a thing?
You reckon?
I can't tell if Puck is drunk or not.
He's only had
He's
the
such
one
a
and a half.
lightweight.
Where he was stumbled before, and then he was coherent for conversation, but now he is frozen in time. I don't know what is. Perhaps his legs have stopped working. I have heard legless as a term for lots of ales.
I mean,
Has,
you did just
is-
like witness paralysis.
I think at this point, the conversation's
Oh my
kind of
God.
happening. The conversation's happening back at the table.
Yeah.
Kelly will finally
Head-
just break and give a bit of a grin and a nod to you and walk back to her office out the back.
I'm gonna.
Was about to say.
But it was definitely like a solid 2 minutes kind of thing.
After making those comments, had she left the door to her office open after leaving it?
No.
Cool. Okay. As she enters back into the office, though, I just want to,
Have a glance.
look through the door to see if I can see, but in particular, if there's like a bed set up, like if it looks like that's where she stays, or it's just a place of business, but also just scanning a distance into the room.
Give me a perception check.
While Michael rolls that, just part of that conversation, I just kind of want to fuck with Hera a little bit, as she referenced, that he might be paralyzed. I'll be like, maybe Puck looked into the eyes of the basilisk again.
You mean the decapitated head of the basilisk?
It could still work. Who knows?
Maybe we should keep the eyes before we give this to Bellinor. That could come in handy.
Possibly.
You-
Ryan is laughing, but it's actually a genius idea.
Geniuses come in all forms. 9 lives sometimes. You try and take a glance in the room, Ghost, and you see a wall. It is round the corner from the bar. Seems like a painting is hung up and like a board with some notes and stuff on it. So maybe a workspace, maybe a quarters. Unsure, as the door closes quite quickly behind her.
Right. No worries.
So I guess we just wait here for Bellinor and.
I'll come back
What
to the
time is it
table.
now?
So
Like mid-afternoon.
Um,
what was that all about? I mean, if that was flirting, you really got to work on your stuff.
Oh, she's not my type.
Come on now, Paxton.
I
We may be
think-
short, but I know we have a lot of heart. You can do whatever you want to achieve.
I think she's paying off. That was Tariff, by the way.
wait,
Fuck
what
me,
about-
really?
Yeah.
What the hell are we still sitting here for then?
Well, has he done anything to anyone personally here? I asked Kelly if he was a problem, and she seemed pretty content with the arrangement, whatever that is, she has with him. I've got my papers.
Yeah, that's all good and well and all, but we know where he is at the moment. Look, if he's not currently sitting in his offices, now is the prime fucking opportunity to take a look around.
To what end?
Well, take a scan around the room and just make sure there's no prying eyes, but some looking at watching our conversation.
Prying eyes or ears. No, there's now a couple of tables distance between you and the other patrons that are in here. It's the stragglers from lunch, and before the afternoon rush of a pub.
Look, I know we have our suspicions about Zodor, but it's not exactly a wise idea. Sheriff said he has no proof of any criminal behavior.
Exactly.
Best thing we can do is
Something doesn't add up. Look, if whatever that group was is taking instruction from him down in the mist with whatever this artillery machine is, and let's for a fucking just a moment go with me. he's stolen an artifact from the church.
Look, maybe we don't know that yet.
Jesus fucking Christ! You ever heard of a hypothetical? Let's go with the hypothetical.
Who's Jesus Christ?
It was some traveler from way back in the fucking days. It said he walked around the continent of Eberron just helping people out.
Okay, look,
Good fella, but I don't know why we use his name in vain.
Do you think that the artifact is in his offices?
Again, this is
No, not even that. I reckon he has something, some sort of communicate. There's got to be a reason that people are paying him. Shit, it might even be that they're in on the whatever he's up to, but he must have something. There has to be some reason.
Don't you think it's a better idea to ask around town? You know, maybe go to the sheriff, ask to see some of the files who complained about him, or send in some rumors. Maybe they have an issue with him, and maybe they're happy to give us some information. But
nobody complains about him. That's what's weird.
Sneaking into someone's quarters,
Someone's complained about him. There's a couple. The sheriff mentioned there were rumors that he'd heard, and there's clearly the church doesn't like him.
Yeah, rumors. And Mother Johanna clearly has something against him. After all, he's supposedly stolen something from her.
I don't think he's a good person. I'm just cautious that we're not going to cross the law without good cause and suddenly find ourselves on the wrong side of it.
Yes. The
I'm
sheriff
not
was
talking about murdering someone. I'm just saying, take a look at his shit.
Just out in the street.
I won't even put anything in my pockets. I promise.
Breaking and entering is, I don't think the sheriff was the kind who would wave that off so easily. I do like the idea if we talk
I never
to
said anything about breaking or entering anything. Well, the entering part's kind of guaranteed, but nothing about breaking.
Anyway, it's just a term. I think maybe we can talk to some of the other people who own stores here and things and see what they have to say, and maybe we can collect some information and then
find some actual proof.
You're all boring. Fine.
We've not done terribly well when it comes to stealth.
I'll tell you what.
Hear
Hear me out.
Just like
100% drinking like that.
Why don't I take Hera? Because she's got this fantastic ability to talk into our heads at a distance. And we just follow him from a distance, see where he goes.
As I kind of like look to Puck and Molokov, and I'll say, well, to be fair, the sheriff doesn't know he's with us. You can go alone, but not with Hera.
Oh.
I don't mind observing, seeing what he does, seeing where he goes. That's fine. There's nothing.
Hand on my heart.
Nothing illegal about
Again.
that.
No funny business.
Again, if you get in trouble, we can't help you. And if, you do something against the law, well, that's the law's job now.
Not helping someone is a choice, Devarge. But I get what you're saying.
But also breaking the law is a choice.
It is indeed. As I said, no funny business.
As this conversation is going on, why don't we hear from Molokov?
Yes, I have had a few things to say.
Right, sorry.
He's got like a list of like.
Yes, I keep going in to say something, but then there's always someone else. I'm just like, all right, I'll just hold back. Look, all I want to say is this man, he provides protection from something somehow. Maybe he is the, danger, whatever. Whether he is threatening or there's something else threatening, he must have some form of power behind him. No, he got the men that were out there in the mists. Mm-hmm. There's probably many more.
Oh, yeah, there's at least three.
Should we want to piss him off this early in our acquaintanceship? He already got bumped by little man here. Are you sure we want to start tailing him? I think he's not an idiot. He will know what is happening.
Well, and as well, everyone in this town is on his side, apparently. So
exactly.
He was very perceptive, I'll say that.
Yes. I think we are making big risk by either breaking in or following them in.
I 100% agree. But as I said before, Ghost, of course, I don't want to see you in harm, but if you decide to do this, you are alone. You're not associated with us in the eyes of the sheriff.
Oh, fine. You raise a good point. I still don't like it.
I don't think it's a bad idea, though, going around and asking questions about him. Maybe even going back into the mist and finding out what this artillery item was. Or is.
Yes, well, we don't know where it is. That might be it's a big area.
That's true. But you said something about tracks not disappearing, right?
I think so. Is that right, Reese? The tracks?
Correct, yeah. The tracks would be left in there. But by that logic, you would have to go back to the depot and start from there.
Yeah, because you... Yeah.
Because the tracks you marked were at the depot.
Why don't we head to the trade square? Maybe we can ask some questions of other business owners, and maybe perhaps Ghost, you can get close to the edge of the market, keep an eye on. You said he was living at the station house. Maybe see if you see him return from across the road.
I mean,
try to be
we need to be cautious.
I was just thinking of going and saying hello.
We just need to be careful.
Why and fucking introduce yourself? That's gonna turn real bad once he figures out that we're onto him. Whatever he's up to.
Callie, who knows who we are, who knows that we're helpful, whose life we saved, didn't even want to talk to us about him. So I think we might find it not a particularly helpful conversation. It's worth trying, but we don't want him to suddenly know, oh, there's these people who are asking about you.
Look, I'm not talking about going up to him and saying, hey, how you doing? We're suspecting you of something bad. I'm more saying, make face. We're in his town. We may as well be polite about it.
I have a better idea. What if I ask him for work? He doesn't know me. I'm not necessarily affiliated with you lot, at least in the eyes of everyone else in the town. Seems like he pays a lot of people. Maybe I'm just his type.
What would he need you for, though?
I don't know. That's the exciting part.
He lost some muscle with the gnolls.
This is true.
That's if he is working with them. And again, and I'll look around one more time. I think I remember your friend there, Huck. I think I remember Kelly saying that she didn't need to be rescued.
You saw her condition.
I have a feeling that the boss found out or made a visit. You know, in the next few days, he might have been seriously disapproving of that no fella. Can't remember his name. If they really are under his employ, that would have been hell to pay if he had discovered that she'd been hard done by.
It's interesting. I mean, if the gnolls weren't in his employ, then that was another person moving in on his territory, and you would think that would cause quite a lot of a stir here. People would know about it. People would talk about it.
You're not wrong.
This is a small town.
And it ain't big enough for the two of us.
No, I should have just shanked him when I walked past.
Yeah. Did.
Even
I'm the law here.
Yeah.
Even more reason for me to ask if he's employing. Look, if I can get some kind of inside knowledge.
It
might have to do a job.
You'll be alone.
I never said so. Maybe he's got a mission.
Would he not
Seems
send
like
you
a man who
mission
wants
with
something,
others,
sends
though?
people out to the mist.
Hold on, go back to Jed.
Would he not be sending you out with others, though?
If you want to keep our
Potentially.
affiliation separate, then we can't come and help you. It would make no sense.
Tell you what, let's just sit on that one for a minute, shall we? Not necessarily excited about running into the employ of someone who could be up to no good.
I still think it's not a bad idea, at least, just saying hello.
No, it's not. A little more information would be not hard done by. I like Hare's idea. I mean, the combined idea.
Well, how
Like,
about
go around and talk to some folks. I need to get to the scrapyard anyway. Perhaps the relationship's a little more forefront up there. I imagine some hardier types work at a place like that.
how about Molokov and Hera head into the trade square? Me and Puck can go to introduce ourselves to Zodor, and I can apologize for my associate for his drunken behavior earlier. Nice kind of segue in.
Happy to try. We've just learned he's an important person in town, someone we don't want to piss off. And we're very sorry.
Perhaps give that one an hour. Would and make it seem like you had enough time to sober up.
Well, slightly sober up.
I'll spill some beer on myself.
Just without telling anyone it's part of the plan. You just
Yeah, cheers. You're meant to get that in your never mind.
For the
Maybe do
smell.
this later. Maybe we should still wait for Balinor and see how she's doing.
She could be a while. Look, she was waking up, but she was rough.
Last time I didn't meet her on time at the place where we decided to meet, she kind of walked off into the mist. I wouldn't be comfortable just doing that again.
Well, it's a good thing we didn't set a meeting time.
Didn't you tell her to come meet us here?
I left a message. She's real rough. I think we've got at least a few hours, if not the afternoon. Afternoon. Yeah.
Okay.
okay. So what I'm hearing is that Hera and Molokov are going to go check out some markets.
Unless, of course, Molokov, you want to do something else.
Yeah, completely up to you guys.
No, that'll do for a start.
Puck
I'll tag along with you.
and
I'd
okay,
rather
so
not make my face known.
you're going to go to the markets with them.
I'll follow along.
All right. And Puck and Vargir, you're going to wait a while before heading towards
Yeah, give it an
Zodor's offices.
Yeah, I'll read through this paperwork and I will sort out accommodation for us in the inn as well after I've done that.
Okay. Before we get
What I will
into
do.
Oh, go on.
Oh yeah. What I will do before leaving? First, I'll pull out 3 silvery vials at the table. Kind of bite the corner of my lip and look at all 4 of my companions sitting at the table and go, I think this will work the best. I'll hand 1 to Vargir, 1 to Puck, and 1 to Molokov.
Okay. So I think you can add it to your inventory or your notes. You can just say vial of silver. It's not an actual item, but it will coat your weapon for a certain amount of time, and it will ignore all resistances.
I've just written down potion of resistance removal.
That makes sense.
But what I will do formally at the bar before everyone actually heads out is I will go see Brackle. I'd like a room.
He turns around and goes, of course. I can set some up for you. How many are you looking for?
Just the one for me. Not sure what the rest want to do just yet, but perhaps a pencil in a booking for another.
Of course. That'll be two silver. As he kind of like leans around you and looks at Puck.
Are you trying to do this without me noticing?
Not at all.
Okay, I'll look back and I'll say, I can sort out the room. I said I would sort out the rooms. I mean, if you want to pay for it.
I look back to Brackle.
It'll be 2 silver if you are wanting to pay for it. Otherwise, I'm sure we can hold you up again.
This one's on me, Puck. I'll place those 2 silver down.
He takes
Just
it.
want to leave a message as well.
A message for who?
Eleanor, I think you might know her.
The name sounds familiar. I'll have to check my records.
Taller elven woman. If she comes in, looking for us. Just let her know that we'll be back shortly, and if she needs to get comfortable, maybe lie down, she can take my room.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. He takes the 2 silver and puts it in the till. Starts writing down a bit of a note.
Fantastic. You're a wonderful man, Brackle. Stay awkward.
Just goes and serves someone else.
Cool, that's all.
All right. So as you were going through the paperwork, Puck, leaning over your shoulder to this interaction, but then focusing back on to this work, as you and Vargir choose to sit here, Kira and Molokov get up and start making their way to the markets as Ghost is leaving the room as well. With a lot of questions to ask and a lot of directions to go, I think that is where we'll end tonight's session.
The conspiracy theories, man.
Before we finish,
Oh, yes.
is it possible?
Epilogue.
Yeah, sorry. Is the paperwork filled out okay?
You'll have to go through it.
That's what I'm doing in this time.
Yeah. So we'll pick up with that
Okay.
next time. So far, looks all good. It looks like it's filled in properly.
Okay.
Quick DM question. What were the colors those men were wearing? I kind of was too late to write
Mustard.
there.
Kind of like
Green, brown, green, mustard.
yeah,
Brown, green, mustard. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I've got yellow, tans, and green, so that's close enough.
close enough.
Colonel mustard.
Yeah.
Does it seem like it's not quite uniform, but that was just more like that would be what how am I? That's like hiring a mercenary force. Like
They weren't
just
yeah.
same colors.
Wasn't uniform.
It's not
They were
maybe.
all just wearing the same kind of colors, which yeah, it's not like a designed uniform, but it's like they've been given the same kind of cloths.
Yep. Yeah, sure.
We will pick up there next time.
Awesome.